Hello, I'm Benjamin Beaver with Coldwell Banker, and today we are talking about the sense of urgency, the buyer's sense of urgency. So I'm talking to the sellers. This is something that I believe is a very important principle, something very important to keep in mind when you're listing your house. I believe you should list your house in such a way to sell it in the first 2 weeks. And there's a couple different ways to go about that, but the reason is in order to capitalize on the buyer's sense of urgency. Every time a house goes on the market, for the first 2 weeks, it's hot. It's a hot commodity, and in the buyer's mind, no matter if they're the only one who's even gone to see it, they're thinking, this is a new listing, someone else is about to get it. And they think that for about 2 weeks, and then really when it gets past 2 weeks, going on to a month, last year the time frame was longer before it started to feel stagnant. But this year, being a seller's market, really, the flip side of that is once a property sits for about a month, buyers start asking what's wrong with it. They all of a sudden don't feel this sense of urgency to try to make a move on it and make a good offer. They think, oh, surely they'll come down. They think that, they are more likely to be able to, get more concessions, get a lower price, get more closing costs, etc. The longer it sits on the market. So what I actually believe is that in most cases, you're likely to get a better selling price, a better net proceeds to you, the seller, by pricing your house competitively in the first 2 weeks than you are kind of just testing the waters at the ideal price, letting it sit, and then by the time you get down to the price you should have listed it at, now you've got time on the market working against you. And even though you just did that price reduction, the buyers aren't thinking about how you just reduced the price. They're thinking about how long it's been on the market and that they can get you to come down more. And I see this all the time. So I think it's really important to capitalize on the buyer's sense of urgency in the first 2 weeks. That doesn't mean you can't test the waters, because there are certain houses that I go out there and there's not a lot of comparable sales. And I think really we need to just try for a certain price and see what happens, get a response. But once you test the waters, respond quickly. If you're 4 days in and you're not getting the kind of results you want, if things are starting to slow down, respond with a price reduction in the first 4 to 5 days rather than waiting 2 weeks or 3 weeks. When you do this, you can still keep the property hot in order to sell it in the first 2 weeks. And like I said, I think when you do that, you get a better sales price and most importantly, a better net proceeds to you, the seller, and you do it in a more timely manner. So that's just a little conceptual kind of thing to keep in mind when you're getting ready to sell your house, is that there's nothing wrong with testing the waters, going high, but respond quickly, because once you lose that buyer's sense of urgency, you really make your net proceeds go down accordingly.